All right, good evening, everyone. I call the City Council meeting for Wednesday, January 26th to order. The cold or people outside or whatever you want to think about, let's have a moment of silence about folks being warm. Thank you. And I know Alderman Lee's on the phone, but she can still lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everybody join us. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Thank you, Alderwoman Lee. City Clerk Brian, please call the roll.
Dunn.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
McGinnis.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Grip.
Here.
Condon.
Here.
Cornett.
Here.
Dickman.
Here.
Jobson. And Ortez.
Here.
9 present, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Krupp. So again, good evening, everyone. As we begin the meeting of the City Council, I'd like to welcome everybody in attendance here and anyone who's viewing the meeting on any particular electronic device. We respectfully welcome your comments and opinions, but please keep in mind that as you share your thoughts, you're sharing them with not only your fellow Davenporters, but everybody throughout the region. We're happy you're participating in your city government, but please ask your participation reflect the common desire we all share to make Davenport a great place for everyone. For particularly the people in here, if you have an electronic device like a cell phone, I'd ask you to please turn it on silent or turn it off simply so it doesn't get interfere with anybody speaking. If you want to address the council, please come up to the podium. The microphone's above you. Please address us or the council as a body and not any one individual. If you want to address folks, there'll be 2 items on discussion and then, of course, public for business for anything other than the agenda items. Ask you to be respectful of us. We certainly will be respectful of you. Thank you. Next item, will an alderman please move approval of the City Council meeting minutes for January 12th, 2022? Second. Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Very good. City Administrator Spiegel, any update?
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
Very good, thank you. Next item, will an alderman please move approval of the report of the Committee of the Whole for January 19th, 2022? Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Next item, we have 1 appointment and 1 proclamation. The appointment is to the Park and Rec Advisory Board. Anthony Whittemire is a new appointment, mayoral appointment. I'll accept a motion to approve. Second. Motion and a second. All in favor for that appointment?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Thank you, Anthony, for your service. We have 1 proclamation, National Mentoring Month. Alderman Ortiz will read. Alderman Ortiz, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right. Whereas January 22nd or January 2022 marks the 20th anniversary of National Mentoring Month, an annual campaign to focus attention on the need for mentors, as well as how each of us can work together to increase the number of mentors who help ensure positive outcomes for our young people. And whereas there are a significant number of vulnerable children in our community who need and want a positive role model in their lives, and whereas the City of Davenport honors volunteer mentors who support young people by showing up for them every day and demonstrating their commitment to helping them thrive, and whereas mentoring programs make our community stronger by driving impactful relationships that increase social capital for young people and provide invaluable support networks, and whereas mentoring plays a pivotal role in career exploration and supports workplace skills by helping set career goals, equipping mentors with the skills needed to support professional growth of young people, and driving positive outcomes for young people in businesses. And whereas research has shown that children engaged in healthy and safe one-on-one mentoring relationships are less likely to be incarcerated and exhibit delinquent behaviors and are more likely to graduate high school. And now, therefore, we, Mike Madsen, Mayor, and the City Council of Davenport, Iowa, do hereby proclaim January 2022 as National Mentoring Month in the City of Davenport and encourage all citizens to celebrate and explore mentoring opportunities throughout our community. Do I have a motion to approve? We have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion is approved. All right, we have somebody from Big Brothers, Big Sisters? All right, could I have Big Chris Weiser and Little Dakota meet me at the podium and we'll present this.
You can too if you want. Or you can
Says I'll leave it.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Say a few words if you'd like. Thank you.
Sure. Well,
Yes, sir. Sir.
sorry,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
There you go. That's all right.
Well, I'm Chris, and this is Dakota from Big Brothers Big Sisters. I think it's great that we have Big Brothers Big Sisters as part of this community because it gives us older people a chance to have a good impact on young's lives and gives us a chance to just kind of go out and have fun. So if anyone's watching or online or is curious about it, I'd really recommend checking it out. I mean, they're always looking for people who just want to have a good impact on kids, so please do.
Thank you very much for what you do and appreciate all the work and efforts you do for the young folks. So thank you. All right. All right, next item, petitions and communications from council members. And Mayor, I see a few. Alderman Dunn.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Alderwoman Lee, put me in the queue.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to take a couple minutes to say thank you to Chief Carlston, Morris, McDougal, and the crew from Station 5 and the Parks Department for all their efforts and help in helping me put together a ice skating rink in the west end of Davenport. It was quite the project, and it turned out very well. And I know you guys do a lot of things in the community, and it's not really a big deal, you know, for you guys, but I will tell you for the families and the kids that are using it, it is a big deal, and I want to thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Dunn. Alderwoman Lee.
Oh, thank you. I would request an update from staff on the RFQ for the Destination Playground. I'm interested in the schedule and how things went on the on-site tour on Monday.
Okay, will do. Anything else? Okay, Alderman Kelly.
Hi. I want to apologize and thank at the same time. I want to apologize to my colleagues. I have a job working with autism. I won't always be available on weekends. So if anybody's ever wondering if he's not trying to be 100%, I really am. But I'm also trying to be 100% to those folks that are living in the Quad Cities with autism. And I want to thank the mayor and Corey for being so good to me, and Ms. Gleason for keeping me up to speed on things that I'm missing. So I'm really trying to be the better alderman that I can, but I can only do so much when, you know, I have a job that's kind of demanding. So just so you know, I am, and I look forward to my ward meetings in March. So I just scoped out a place to start having in-person meetings, so.
Thank you, Alderman Kelly. Alderwoman McGinnis.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just wanted to echo what Alderman Dunn had said. I took a little visit down to the skating rink on Saturday, and I have some really nice photos and video. There was a family there from Davenport, mom and dad and 3 kids, and they were having a wonderful time. They were sort of playing, the parents had their skates on, the kids were sliding around the ice, they were playing hockey, they were sledding. And I said, hey, you should make this your Christmas picture. I'll take your picture. So I started talking to them. And so they're from Davenport. They usually go somewhere else to skate. And they said it's really crowded. It's really too expensive for our family. And I won't say where, but it was another city. And and this is great, and they were able to play hockey and very excited about it. So we're really loving it and just thought it was fantastic. So it was really a picture postcard a little bit. And so I was able to snag some pictures, which I shared with Alderman Dunn. But I think it's a great addition. And certainly one family was able to do something that had gotten very expensive for 5 people to do in Davenport for free. And they really enjoyed it. So I want to thank him for that. I also wanted to mention, and this has certainly gone out to the public, but Davenport U is back in person. And that's very exciting. Last year it had to be done remotely because of COVID, but applications are now being taken online. And this is a 9-week program. If you're interested in learning how your city works, how the different departments work, you can register online through February 25th. It is a limited cohort, but you really learn about fire, police, finance, all kinds of things about the city. It's a really good education for anybody that's interested in being more involved in city government in any way. It's something that I would recommend as a new alderman. I had not taken it before I came on, and it was very helpful for me that way. So please think about that, and and if you have any questions, give us a call. But the deadline for registering is February 25th. So that's really all I have, Your Honor, and thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman McGinnis. Alderman Grip.
Thank you, Your Honor. Seems like I've been doing this quite a bit from the dais, recognizing community leaders who have passed away recently. I've been to Halligan McCabe 3 times in the last 5 days, but we would be remiss if we didn't recognize the passing of Mike Duffy, former CEO of Permar, and just an incredibly generous person who gave a lot of money and resources to the community and the things that were important to him, which were faith and family and community. When I was reading his obituary, all of the money that he gave and time that he donated to different places, the YMCA, the Chamber, the St. Ambrose University, the Handicap Development Center. The list is really, it's a mile long and couldn't be included in an obituary. But he was also instrumental in making sure that the Quad City Cultural Trust was established and that there's money there to keep the arts flourishing in Davenport. And there's just a list of things he did for this community that we're forever indebted to him for. And we'll be missing him as a part of our community. And my condolences to his family. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Grip. Well said. Alderman Ortiz.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to thank Nicole, our Public Works Director, and her staff, and Davenport Police Department for attending a frozen Fourth Ward meeting last night at the Kepi Center out at the fairgrounds, for updating the residents of what we were doing to keep the Fourth Ward residents safe, some upcoming projects that we have going. So I'd like to thank everybody that did brave the cold and came out. And then, like I said, city staff, there was a bunch of good questions, and I appreciate Nicole's expertise in answering those questions, so thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Ortiz. Anyone else? Very good. All right, we'll move on to, we have a couple items for discussion on individual approval of items on the discussion agenda. So first one is a resolution approving an economic development agreement with RDIP LLC. Is there any public with comment? Seeing none, will an alderman move the resolution? Second. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion from alder folks? Very good. Brian, please call the roll.
Dunn.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Dickman.
Yes.
Grip.
Yes.
Condon.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
Ortiz.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
And Cornett. 9 yeses, Your Honor.
Very good. That resolution is adopted. The next item is a motion approving the following liquor license application. It's an annual license renewal in Ward 3, Gillies Corner Tap, 2148 West 3rd Street, outdoor area, license type C liquor. Is there any public with comment? Seeing none, will an alderman move the resolution? Motion and a second. Any discussion? Alderwoman McGinnis.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, it was my request to put this on discussion, and I, thanks to Alderman Jeldrin, we did do that. We did get a report last week that we had 2 meetings with this bar. There were issues last year, and we had 2 meetings, and it appears that they have addressed some of the things that we talked about, but not all. And you know, we've been in cold weather now, so hopefully it's a little bit quieter on the bar scene, the outdoor bar scene. So I'm gonna vote for this license tonight, but I would like to put, you know, within the record that all of the things that we talked about have not been followed up on. There's signage, there's closing off the parking lot, not so that it is not a nuisance. There is reducing their hours if things get, and there have been issues since then. Not as many and not as grave within the bar, but it's the environment around the bar which we have to look at as well. So, so they haven't done the signage in the parking lot. They have not made the parking lot harder to get into, so less to drop loitering. They have not reduced their hours in the case of having issues. So I'm going to certainly be looking very closely at this, particularly as warm weather months come and people are outside more and it's more conducive to being outside. And we will come back and meet with them again if we have issues. And I'm hoping they won't. I'm hoping they'll be very successful through all their hours of operation. They certainly are during the daytime. And so I'm hoping that they will do, but I will be watching and looking at this very closely. So thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Alderwoman McGinnis. Anyone else? So thank you for drawing that to our attention, and I hope Gillies adheres to your concerns and kind of warning, so to speak, and I know all of us will pay attention, and next time they come, I hope we don't have to have this discussion because I know where it'll go next time. So appreciate your vigilance. Anyone else? Very good. City Clerk Bryan, please call the roll.
Condon,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Dickman,
Yes.
Grip,
Yes.
Cornett, Ortez,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
and Lee.
Yes,
9 yeses, Your Honor.
Very good. That license is approved. Next item, is there a motion for approval of all items on consent agenda? Motion and a second. City Clerk Bryan, please call the roll for all items on consent.
Kelly,
Yes.
Condon,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Grip,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Lee,
yes,
Dickman,
yes,
Yes.
Cornett,
Yes.
and Ortez.
Yes.
9 yeses, Your Honor.
Very good. Consent agenda is approved. The next item is, are there any other ordinances, motions, or resolutions? There are none for this evening. The next item, is there any public with business? So if there is, please come to the podium. You'll have 5 minutes. Please address as a body and not as any individual. Okay, hearing and okay. And please give your name, order, address. If you're not from here, we'd love to know where you're from. Thank
Good
you,
evening.
stranger.
My name is Dale Gilmore, and I live in the 6th Ward, and I am not what you would call a happy camper. Tonight, when I refer to the 3, I'm referring to the 3 newly elected aldermen. When I refer to the 7, I'm referring to the 7 re-elected aldermen. And when I refer to the DDP, I'm referring to the Downtown Davenport Partnership. As most of
So,
you know,
Mr. Gilmore, I'll remind you of our rules, body, not individual.
well, body of 3, body of 7.
Thank you, sir.
As most of you know, I have attended almost all of the city council meetings, most of the management updates, and most of the budget sessions for over 20 years. This isn't my first rodeo. The CIP budget overview we saw last Saturday involved not only the proposed costs for capital projects in the 2022-2023 budget year, it also named some tentative future projects. I realize that none of these tentative projects are written in stone, but some believe that just because a project appears in the future, that it has been discussed, voted on, and approved, and nothing could be farther from the truth. I would like to speak directly to one of the proposed projects listed, that being the conversion of 3rd and 4th Street to two-way streets. It was even stated at last Saturday's meeting, and I won't say by whom, that there have been numerous discussions by council members regarding this change. Maybe the 7 have discussed it briefly, but to the 3, I want to assure you that no decisions have been made. So maybe the 7 of you have discussed it, but how about the 100,000 of us who will be paying for it? Isn't it time the general public has a chance to be heard? I even heard a ward alderman say at their ward meeting, this is a done deal. May I assure all of you, 10, that this isn't a done deal. Are there issues with traffic downtown that could and should be addressed? Absolutely. Is the conversion of 3rd and 4th Street the only solution to these issues? Absolutely not. It's just the only one being proposed. Have you ever heard the saying, when the only tool in your toolbox is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail? Yes, I was at the council briefing when a representative from the DDP came and gave a 20-minute dog and pony show extolling the positive virtues the conversion would bring to the downtown, and how the DDP had paid professional consulting firm to assess these positive changes and all the benefits for the downtown. A 100+ page report was held up, and everyone was told the report was available on the DDP website. If the 7 of you remember, when the DDP survey was presented to you on Wednesday, January 27th, just a year ago tomorrow, of last year, I expressed my concern that the word accepted used in the agenda implied approval and agreement of the study. I was assured that was not the case. Yet on the front page of the Quad City Times the following day, the headline read, "Ambitious Downtown Plan Okayed." And they did it again in the paper yesterday. And the caption under this photo reads, Davenport plans to make 3rd and 4th Street shown from River Drive two-way in the fiscal year 2024. I believe that to the general public, from what has been published in the paper, that this was a done deal. Will Rogers once said, the people who don't read the paper are uninformed, and the people who do read the paper are misinformed. Boy, was he right. And many of you will remember the old saying, if you tell people a lie often enough, they will begin to believe it. I'd like to ask all of you, have you read the report? That report has more holes in it than a ton of Swiss cheese slices. Did you happen to see where in one of the reports, it clearly states, and I quote, all public forums were canceled. I would like to ask the DDP why all public forums were canceled. Was someone trying to hide something from the public? So yes, the 7 of you may have discussed it briefly, but there have been no public forums, no opportunity for input from the public. And rather than have 1 or 2 large public forums, which I can imagine could quickly spiral out of control, may I suggest 8 smaller forums? We could call them ward meetings. I know this subject has been mentioned at least 2 ward meetings with almost no one in attendance expressing their support for this project. I would like to ask each of the ward aldermen to announce that in an upcoming in-person ward meeting, that there will be a discussion of the proposed conversion of the one-ways to two-way traffic, along with the costs involved. Invite a representative from the DDP to attend, and I will also be there. Let us give your constituents the facts. Let both sides present our side, and let those in attendance ask questions of the...
You can conclude.
Ask questions to both of you and give you their direction as to how they would wish you would vote. Invite the 2 at-large aldermen and the mayor to attend. After all, your constituents are the ones who elected you and help.
Thank you, Mr. Gilmore.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Sure. Gonna take this down temporarily. Bill Handel, 4th Ward, Davenport, also Nashville, Tennessee. Going to talk about this, briefly about this plan that I come up with for the downtown. I guess it'd probably be a 50 or 75-year plan, some of which could be done very soon within the scope that we're talking about in 10 years. Others would have to take longer, but I think overall, this is the kind of thing that our city has not seen, I guess, since Bill Peterson And the original levy commission filled 170 acres of our river, everything south of River Drive, around the turn of the 20th century, and that was about a 17-year project. Well, 17 years is about the time between now and River Vision 2004. I'm sure all of you, many of you have looked at that in some detail, and as an architect and planner, I commend that plan from Hargraves, and don't see very much of it that wouldn't apply today. But however, in 2014, when I first got involved in the riverfront, the original River Vision included both Rock Island and Davenport. Rock Island was dropped off. It concentrated on a very smaller segment. But the real change happened, I guess, in 2018, where staff, along with, on the direction of, I don't know, changed, I think, the entire direction of River Vision. And that's when first the playground that we're talking about is our national destination playground first happened. And then later that year, RDG was hired by the Figgy and by the Downtown Partnership. And as Gail said, it was then accepted really with almost no, as far as I could tell, no public discussion or perhaps not much examination. So the National Destination Playground, I've said this in the past, it's kind of like, let's have some reality here. We're the 300th largest city in the United States. For us to consider a national destination playground it's a questionable kind of a thing. And this 5 acres of right now is the apex of our riverfront. You know, we've got the city streets go east-west, the river kind of comes up here, you get this narrow diamond arrowhead right here. That's the biggest, most important facing south portion of our riverfront. To devote that to a playground for kids, as much as I love kids and playgrounds, to me seems entirely wrong. Let's look at a national, I've said this in the past, but regional playgrounds, destinations, the Lost Island in Waterloo. They're now adding on to that, but it's a $100 million project and it's hundreds of acres. How can we say that our little 5 acres here, who's going to be coming to that? Maybe it's a nice thing if you happen to be here, but it's not a destination. It could never be a destination. The idea of a landing, perhaps it's something, a fountain, perhaps a building where you can enjoy the riverfront. That's something we can do. Anyway, I'll talk about this in more detail. I'll send you emails coming up with this thing about 3rd and 4th Street. I can agree no more strongly with Mr. Gilmore. What are we trying to do? I mean, I've lived in big cities for much of my life, and most of their downtowns have one-way streets. To say that one-way streets don't have a place is, I think, a mistake. We've lived with it 50 years. It's been a good thing, but let's reduce it perhaps down to 2 lanes each way. Let's go ahead and pull the curbs in. Let's have some landscaping, make something nice. 2 lanes aren't going to be a hazard to anybody, but it's enough that you can really pump a lot of traffic into it. I mean, River Drive to the east is just 2 lanes each way. If we turn 4th Street, 3rd Street into 2 lanes, one way, it'd be a good thing. And then perhaps the idea of 2-way traffic is something we would do perhaps west of Marquette. I mean, I really think the plan is just entirely backwards. So anyway, we'll talk about it in more detail. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, seeing no one, any other reports, City Administrator? Negative. I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor to adjourn? Aye. Very good. Be safe, stay warm, look out for pets, and bring people inside. Thank you.